Mic check. Oh, yes. It's Monday, so that means Tory's fidgeting last second.
Hi, everybody.
Last second fidget.
Hi. Al would always hate when I fidgeted on DBL, and he'd be like, "Stop fidgeting." Hey, everybody.
Well, you have these really cool frames. This is the second time this has happened. And then you lose confidence as soon as the show starts. And then, yes. All right.
I got these in Vienna, and I don't know if I look too Viennese. Like, it didn't translate into America. So you guys, thumbs up or thumbs down for the glasses. I'm your kooky art teacher. You know what I mean?
No, I'd like them. They show off your face. You know, what's interesting is like, you're like, I don't know if they're too Viennese. And that would be, because when you break up with anybody, you're going to say mean things usually. And they'll be standard. I never liked you anyway, blah, blah, blah. But what if the last thing you heard leaving out the house is, that's why your glasses were too Viennese? Like, that would really, I would think about that from the rest of my life. You can call my mom out her name. You could say whatever you want about my looks. If you yelled that my glasses were too Viennese, I'd be driving home, like calling friends, like, are my glasses Viennese? And they'd be like, I'm at work. I can't.
Oh my God. It's probably the bougiest thing I ever said.
No, I love it. Julia says your glasses are fire. I dig them.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for the thumbs up.
I never would let you. My job is to make fun of you off camera. I would never let you have anything on camera that doesn't make you look good.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Thank you, guys. Oh, so Just Me says Maine broke a heat record. It's at 86 degrees today.
Wow. That is, yes, and that's Portland, Maine. Yes.
I said that.
You read it chopped up.
I said Portland, Portland, Maine.
Yeah, you like read it in fragments.
Wait,
Tory,
can I say something?
Try it again.
Okay. Hey, Just Me says that in Portland, Maine, they broke a heat record. It's 86. So today on the show, just really quick, it said that's right after the break, but there was a spot. It went to the next line. You know what I mean, Al? So this is me. Ready? That's right. After the break.
So you're just agreeing with whatever something was just said. That, you know what? That's right. After the break. It's well, Tory, really quickly, tell us about your weekend. It's Monday.
So I went to the gym alone on Saturday night. I was like, we have a gym in my building. And I was like, why is no one here? And then I was like, oh, it's Saturday night.
People are out experiencing joy.
I had my weighted vest on, and I've been eating better. I've been eating and making my famous, that's a really good salad. And I went to ARC to go to the thrift store. We had the owner of all ARCs on my show, and they do so much for disability and people with mental disabilities. And their ambassador, Miles, came on, and he had Down syndrome, and I think I'm going to have him co-host. So it was really, really, really fun.
That's great. That's wonderful.
I went to ARC.
You know what? I'm going to have to, I'm going to start working out again. It's probably been like a year since I've worked out.
Nice.
So like I need to be held accountable. So nice. Wednesday, I will post my first, not gym thirst trap, just proof I was there. That's how you know you're not trying to have sex with anybody anymore. You're just like, it's time stamped. Leave me alone.
Pixar didn't happen. Didn't happen. Michael Dean is a gym rat, and he says, I'll go to the gym. I'm very excited to see it.
Yes, Michael Dean is a gym bunny, not a gym rat. Remember, talked about, look at your arm. That looks great.
Well, I've been going to hot yoga with this one woman. She's very hard. Anyway, it's cold and gray here, and we're happy about Maine being so warm. What was your weekend like, Al?
It was great. This weekend, myself and Michael Dean and Mitchell, we swung by Snarf's. They're opening a new location in Lowry. And Tory, I know you weren't able to make it because you don't support our sponsors. No, I mean, look, now you didn't have to yell and never will in my face. Look, that's how you choose.
I had a
thing,
previous engagement, and that engagement was the Taylor Swift movie. I had gotten
which we
tickets prior, which
which
we
we
will
will be
discuss.
talking about. Absolutely. But I do want to share this really quickly, and I actually wrote it down so we could talk about it before we get to today's stories, because some of them are unpleasant, but there's some beautiful things in life. And not only just seeing Michael Dean and Mitch, but before they got there, I was there in the front talking to Alex. Uh, Shout out to the mother clucker, Sandy. I got the provolone and New York steak sandwich. It changed my life.
Yum. You know what I like from
Made
Snarf's
love
is
to my
tuna.
mouth. Yes.
Tuna.
Well,
Tuna.
it was they were training their staff, so they did one of those soft openings where the food is, free. You just order just so they can get used to the pace. And Tor, I'm standing there outside of the establishment, talking to Alex, who's our point of contact there at Snarf's, and she's lovely. And we're just talking, and this girl comes up. I'm not great with ages, but she looked like she was probably like a 27-year-old white girl, short, kind of punky, I love rock and roll haircut,
Like edgy.
But you could tell she was probably a little down on her luck. Her clothes were clean, but like she was probably hungry, if we want to keep it a buck on here.
Yeah.
And she walked up because there was a sign, and she said, "Is this for real? I can get a free sandwich." And she was so used to people being like, "Get out of here," that Alex was like, "Yeah, come on in." And she had already been like, "Okay," and like was walking away, and then she stopped, like, because it processed what she said. She was like, "No, it's real. You can come in and get free food." And she was like, what do you mean? And she was like, "No, we're opening a new location." And she goes, "I can just come in like this." And she looked fine. She would have fit in anywhere, but you could tell she didn't feel good about herself.
Yeah.
And she just came in and ate and sat and enjoyed a sandwich. And it was like a really beautiful moment,
Yeah, dignified. She had dignity again.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And just like the fact that there was no catch,
Right.
that they're not like, well,
No
if you come
scam.
in, you need to sign up for 2 weeks of a
Right.
program. It was just like, why don't you come in and eat? We're new to this neighborhood, and we're about to be here for a while. So come get a sandwich and tell your friends. So I thought it was a beautiful moment. So shout
That's
out to
awesome.
Snarfs for that. I needed to
That's
see that.
great. Good.
Yeah, there's
That's
some
great.
good
That's
things. And
beautiful.
speaking of good news, Tory, I have some good news involving you.
I love this. What?
All right. Tory, last week we debuted a segment called You Betcha.
Yeah, was I good? I think
In
I
which
looked it up.
well, I don't. Anytime somebody says they think they looked up a football game, that's not how people talk. But you predicted that Mac Jones and the San Francisco 49ers would cover the spread, and you were right. They won the game. Tory called it with a you betcha. That's why I like to ask you, because you don't just look at any of the information.
None. Zero.
You go off a gut. So before we get to our first story, in a couple hours here, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be inviting the world champion Kansas City Chiefs to come play a football game tonight on Monday Night Football. So do you think the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have had a couple of bad seasons, but this season they're playing really well, do you think they'll be able to beat the champs? Then remember, the champs are Travis Kelce and his girlfriend Taylor Swift. Patrick Mahomes is going to be in Jacksonville. Everybody's going to be looking. So, Tory, are they going to ride the momentum of Taylor Swift's album release to a victory, or is Jacksonville going to pull off the upset for Duval County? Duval.
Okay, first off, I want to say I think I've done even better on You Betcha than you said. I got the Broncos right too, I think.
You absolutely did.
Okay, good. I just want to say this. There's going to be a bad injury.
Jesus.
Should I not have said that?
Who are you, the psychic from Montel?
Miss Cleo. Remember her?
Yes.
Okay. There's going to be an injury, and it's going to change the atmosphere of the game. And I think, and I'm saying this 99% off, that I like Taylor Swift, but I do want to see Travis keep going. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs they touch down in Jacksonville and they win.
Can you give us a score?
Yeah. It's going to be low. It's going to be low. It's going to be 10.
Can you do it before the show on Wednesday?
Sorry, 10-3. I mean, that's not right, but that's what came into my head. It's low.
10-3. That would be the lowest scoring game of the season. So, I mean, do you want to redo or are you going to stick with that?
No, I'm gonna do 21-17.
Okay, and that's the Chiefs over the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right,
Yeah, and
that's a legit.
yep,
That's legit.
yep, yep.
And Julia is a Chiefs fan. I see there.
Nice.
I hope they
And
win, but they're
Andy
struggling a
Reid,
bit
he
this year.
knows. Andy
Yeah,
Reid, he's there, right? On one of the teams.
he's the coach for the Chiefs. That's right. He is on one of the teams.
Oh,
That is
he
very
is?
true. Yes.
Okay.
All right, Tory. Let's get into our first story, and we have a new thing. Are you ready for it?
Oh, yeah. That was so
All right.
good, Al.
We're talking about mental health, baby girl. It's World Mental Health Day. Now, you said you guys just talked about something like this on Coco.
Yeah, so I host Colorado and Company. You can see it on 9 News, the app, but from 10 to 11, I'm on NBC every day in Colorado. And I came in and Al, they had a segment called Mama Mondays. And it was like moms around a round table talking about mom stuff. And I'm not a mom. So I was like, I really want to talk about mental health and break the stigma and bring it up on a morning show on NBC. So we came up with this idea. Risa, my producer, and I came up with taking inventory.
I love Arisa. Yeah,
I love Risa's the best. And we got different themes, and it's going to be once a week we hope to get to. And it was a roundtable today of higher education experts that are dealing with scholarship, with mentorship, all in the Denver area, 3 of them. And I got to ask them, how can we lower the anxiety and dealing with money? And maybe some people don't want a 4-year education. They want a 2-year. Like, what are some places I can go right now to take a micro step of looking of how to better myself through some kind of higher education, whatever it may be. And they were so clever and kind. And we got really personal, and a lot of them were their first generation college graduates. And it was just, I was really proud that like an idea I had came to fruition. And I'm really proud of it. So I'm just very proud, and I hope it continues. We're going to do a lot more about if my body doesn't feel good, if I don't feel pretty, or what about how to deal with disappointment, how to deal with the breaking news all the time. How does it not break me? So yeah. So
well,
I
that
just
kind of leads to my question to you, Tory. Where are you with your mental health? Because I think we cover the news every day for 7 years. We we're all going through stuff while that was happening, but I never remember it being like this. I never remember it being where you feel like you're out of the loop if you step back for like 2 hours. Everybody's like, oh, you didn't hear that Trump put a fence around Detroit? You're like, what? It's like, oh, it's so much, and it's always like all of these stories we would have spent a week on.
Yeah. It's so fast.
Everything is so fast. So where are you? I mean, obviously you're dealing with some stuff personally.
Yeah.
Well, that'll come out when it does.
Right.
I'm dealing with stuff. Everybody's dealing with stuff. So where are you? And please be as specific or vague as you want.
Thank you, Al, for asking. And I'll ask you too. But first of all, please write in. Sylvia says, as I've gotten older, my anxiety's gotten worse. I really didn't have any growing up. I totally understand that. So I'm going through a lot right now, and it's a lot of loss. And so I went to therapy this morning and I cried. So here's what I deal with. The morning I wake up and I'm having panic attacks. I don't know if anyone else has had them. These are my first panic attacks ever. I get sick.
Like as soon as you wake up?
As soon as I wake up. My heart is racing.
Is it because there's 3 black guys in the bed?
It is. Okay. How do you know about Jerry, and Jerry?
So, I'm sorry, please. Okay.
Sylvia says, I hate them. I've never dealt with this, and I'm getting rapid heartbeat, can't catch my breath, sick to my stomach, and feelings of like I'm curled up in a ball. So I every morning for about 3 months. And so we're trying different medications, but as soon as I get to work, y'all, it ebbs, it stops, it wanes. And I've gotten better at being in my own and being in my own apartment and cleaning, and I'm cooking for myself. And I had organizers come to make my space better. And I'm trying to do a lot of therapy, a lot of work. I'm reading, I'm doing the podcast, but I'm having a very, very tough time. I feel like I'm going to die every morning. So that's 100% True. And if anyone else has a panic attack, they know it's like you are going to you're not going to make it out of this one.
Do you
So,
know what I'm hearing just as your friend and hearing it from an observer? And I experienced some of this but didn't have the words for it. But it sounds like you're starting your day in a way that you haven't in a long time by yourself.
yeah,
And that's causing anxiety, which is to be understood. But that anxiety goes away as soon as you get to literally a place you've worked for years
exactly.
and there's structure there
And
and you
people,
know what you're doing there.
yeah,
You know when commercial breaks are, you know when you can step outside and make a phone call, you know everything. And
totally.
so when you get to your place where you know things, even if you worked in like a juvenile mental health facility
Totally.
that's chaotic, you'd be like, "Oh, that's just Ricky. He'll calm down. Lunch is at 12:45. The boys from laundry come in at 2:30." You know everything. And so your body is like, well, we know this, so there's nothing to panic. But in the mornings, the your whatever routine that you've developed over how many years, it has is gone.
Yeah.
And the idea
Yeah.
of developing a new routine really, really messed me up after DBL. It was really hard to structure my days, even though
Yeah.
like I've been a professional comic. There's not like we have a meeting at 10 o'clock. You need to have read up on those 2 stories before you walk in that door.
Right.
For even when people bitch about their boss or somebody even being too demanding, at least you know what the demands are. For me, it's like, "Oh, I need to call Michael Dean because we need to discuss this segment. I don't think it's working." If I call Michael Dean at 10, cool.
Right.
What if I call him at
Anytime.
10:15? All right. What if I
Totally.
call him 3 weekends from now at 10 o'clock? Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like there's no I think human beings, we almost want to be swaddled as babies with the blanket and then as adults with a routine
Mhm.
of just even if it sucks,
Yeah,
you
structure.
at least know the
Yeah.
known is so much
Yeah.
more
Important.
than
Yeah. The
so
brain
yeah, I,
likes
I I definitely
routine.
feel you.
Yeah, the brain is craving routine and doesn't like it. And so I just, I want to be really open. A lot of you are giving me great ways of dealing with it. Some people are giving it up to the Lord or whatever you consider your higher power. Just me, or who was the one who said she thank you, unique Gemini. That was nice. Just me says she's lays down, leaning into the feeling and letting scenes from my past surface, looking for a root cause. Great idea. Sometimes this is all I'm just giving you guys. I try and box breathe, but to be honest, I can't catch my breath and it causes more like hyperventilation. So, one thing I've been doing is scanning my environment slowly without turning my head. And that apparently signals to the brain you're not having a saber-toothed tiger come at you. Like it says you're safe. Then I hold my heart and I'm like, I'm safe right now. By the way, this doesn't really help. I take a scalding hot shower. I'll put cold ice on my wrists. I'm trying everything, including medication. And nothing has really stopped it in a way that I feel comfortable. But I'm trying to just let people know there's a really good podcast called Regulate and Rewire. And she's all about how to get from activation or frozen or shut down, how to regulate your nervous system because mine's just very dysregulated. So yeah, I just wanted to know that's what it was. And, I have a lot of anxiety and depression in my family on both sides. It is my sister dealt with stuff. I'm dealing with stuff. And, I just really have empathy for all of you out there right now dealing with any anxiety. I have so much empathy. That's the only plus, Al, is that I learned how hard it is. And I can give compassion to anyone out there who's also struggling with this. So yeah, I also tried taking a walk. I did try somatic sounds too. There's something on Apple Music that's called sound therapy, and I did it for relaxation, and it has like bilateral sound and stuff. So it's not like I'm not trying, Al.
Of
But
course. Yeah, no
yeah,
one's
but
accusing you of
Julia, you're
that.
right. I was watching a dog. I was watching Winnie from yeah, and I got out and did so well in the sunshine. I got more walks
Julia
in, and
took
there
the
was
words out of my mouth, Tori. Why
yeah,
don't you get a
yeah.
dog?
So I've made inquiries onto 2 dogs I wanted to adopt, and they both were taken. So guys, I'm definitely trying really hard to get a dog. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, Christina says the name one red thing you can see, name one blue thing you can see. That's a good one. People say to give your brain knowing you're not in any danger. Because Al, I learned in this podcast, our brains are meant for 35,000 years ago. So we're meant to live in a tribe with other people dealing with just our village, right? And I know what's happening in China in the middle of the night. That is not like our brains aren't meant for all of this information. And I've gotten all this information and anxiety, and the brain is like fried. So it's nice it's nice to know my brain isn't none of our brains are ready for this amount of news that we're getting and to deal with things in such a fast pace. So
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
Sorry.
that makes so much sense. And
Yeah.
before we move on to today's story, I'll just say, as you were saying that, what I was thinking about is even things that bring us joy, because we know so much about everything,
Yes.
it still makes you kind of sad. Everybody's like, I got the new iPhone. Do you know what those sweatshops are like over there? And you're like, oh Jesus,
Yeah, there's nothing safe. Yeah.
everything that you do is kind of like, yeah, but like I like the NFL, but there's so many things I hate how they handled the Colin Kaepernick situation. Like I
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
some of the things that they've done,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I like the game. I like talking about it. So it's just like everything that we even enjoy, we know so much about everything that our brains won't let us move on. But Tori,
Sure.
we're gonna move on to
Thanks for
something.
listening. Thank you, Al. Thank you guys.
Oh,
Sorry.
we love you.
Sorry
That's
about
what we're
that.
here for, girl.
Yeah.
We also need you to weigh in on this. All right, Tor. We're talking Taylor Swift. Album dropped this weekend, but not everybody was happy about it, including the New Yorker, who said it was a masterpiece in cringe, which whoever wrote that line was so proud of themselves. It's a masterpiece in cringe. Boo.
Masterpiece of cringe. Isn't that's what he said.
So what? Yeah. So what do you think about that? A lot of people are saying it's a departure from her normal stuff. Some people
Okay.
blaming Travis.
Right.
Things happen.
Right. So New Yorker went in and they were like, we were expecting this and we got nothing that we like. Okay. Um, I went to see her movie, and in the movie, they show you how she directed the music video for The Fate of Ophelia. It's excellent. And she goes through each track and tells you what it was about. And it's only out for this weekend. And yeah, the New Yorker called the Swift stuck. Like this was like, this is the end of her albums. I have to be honest, the movie helped me like the album way more because I understood each song. And she was really clear about it. But it has very little to do, Al, with the image and aesthetics of what you see as someone who just glances at her album, The Life of a Showgirl, with all her diamonds and she's in the bath. It's not bright and showgirly at all. So that confuses people. I think that's a little bit awkward. You know what I mean? It is a little bit more poppy, fun songs. There's one called Wood Owl. It's about Kelsey's redwood tree. Very, very dirty for Taylor. And then she has a diss track. And then
Wait,
but
who's
they
the
aren't
diss track? Who's the diss track supposed to?
okay, I did a deep dive. By the way, I really like the album now, so I'm listening to it. Anyway, the diss track is called Almost Actually Romantic. And we think about Charlie XCX. Is that the amount of initials she has? I mean, the XCX, is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
Mhm.
So she is dating someone who's in the band 1975, who Matt Healy is in, who Taylor was dating. And Charlie was an opener for Taylor, but then she called her boring and she like constantly talked about her. She's a diss track called Actually Boring or something. So this is to get back at her. And the whole concept of the song, Al, is you're spending so much time on me. That's so actually romantic. And it's a really funny take on being dissed. You know what I mean?
Right. Like I'm in your head rent free kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, some people say it's about Trump. Sarah is absolutely right, but it's very specific. She even says your boyfriend's like, "Why are you always talking about me?" But I did catch a little shade because she's in his head a lot too. So I think it's a good album, but just don't go in there expecting this like showgirl feeling, it has very little to do with the aesthetics. But I really enjoy the album, and I love The Fate of Ophelia. I like Opalite. I thought that was great. She has something about being the eldest daughter. I really like it, but everyone thinks this album is her last album. Like everyone's like, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. She's fine. She has a vision. She's fine.
Oh, I love it. And Tori, I love it when people don't like art. I think there's a
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
thing that happens when you get not only famous, but you get diehard fans.
Yeah.
They love the feelings that you gave them when you dropped your first album 5, 10, 3, 7 years ago. But
Totally.
what fans don't realize is that when that album came out and that artist made that music or that painting, that person does not exist anymore. The person that bought the album and the person that made the album. The person that made the album, that made the art, is changing and wants to challenge themselves and challenge you. But a lot of times you want, and it's not a shot against you, you want those feelings that they gave to you. That first album, give me that real, but like now this artist might be like, I'm a dad now.
Yeah, right.
I'm sober now, or I'm more politically aware now.
Right.
I have a cause now. And
Yeah.
those things will affect the art that they make.
Yeah,
And
that's so interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
your fanhood may just be, I like those first couple albums. You lost me with the last two. That's fine too.
Right. And she
But
said, Al,
yeah,
that all her albums she's made were always like a year before. So she's not in that same space. But this album is exactly where she is currently in her life. So it's so interesting. She actually brought that up. She's like, it's the first album that I'm in the same feelings. Do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
She
All
makes
right.
this line that goes, the devil, I can make a deal with the devil because my is bigger.
Oh, all right. You covering your mouth like that, you're already dressed like a woman that is the head of a spa at the Four Seasons.
Welcome to La Rosalita. This is the spa.
Yes.
That's so
Yes.
funny.
And you just have to tell like a super rich ambassador that you can't piss off. Like, the girls cannot do that. You're welcome to stay or leave, but that is not tolerated. And he's like, do you
You're
know who
so
I
right.
am? And she's like, I know who you are, sir, but we cannot have that here. All right, Tori, we're going to get into a whole bunch of legal stuff. So let's do this.
And if you've been injured in an accident, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by. You can find out how much money you can potentially get for your accident. I'm Tory Schulman here with my co-host Al Jackson. Al, tell the viewers at home who should be calling right now.
Well, Tori, it's like you said, anyone that's been injured in an accident, give us a call right now and find out how much money you can potentially get for your accident.
Thanks, Al.
All right,
That's
Tori.
amazing.
I love our commercial, and we are hoping that Mr. Mark Sanchez saw it, because we are about to get all into that. Colleagues, did you see what happened with Mark Sanchez this weekend? Tori, I will give you a little backstory on this.
Is he a quarterback really quick? He's a
He
quarterback?
was a quarterback for the New York Jets. He had worked his way up and was a famous broadcaster. He was supposed to be calling a game this Sunday.
And he's also dated lots of like Hollywood women.
Yes, he went to USC. So, he's good looking USC quarterback on the NFL. He's cleaning up. He actually dated a friend of ours. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah.
I think I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you do. If the colleagues think hard enough, they probably know too. But yeah, my backstory with this story is, my girl's out of town, and I was reading her. I was like, did you hear that Mark Sanchez got stabbed? And I'm just reading her the story, and I'm like, it was hard to read. And as soon as something's hard to read, that should be straightforward, these wheels get spin out. I'm like, uh-oh, this sounds like some bullshit. This sounds like some bullshit. Because I was on the phone with Sarah, and I was like, she was like, what? And I was like, these words don't make sense. If somebody is stabbed walking to their hotel, that's a pretty straightforward story to write, Tori. But as soon as I saw his family would request privacy at this time, I was like,
I know.
So, Tori, do you know about this story? Do you want me to break it down really quickly?
Let me give what I think is just the short version is Mark Sanchez just beat, I don't know why, maybe he heard some trash talk, but he just beat up terribly this gentleman. And in order to save his life in self-defense, I believe he was 69 years old, has a knife and stabbed him to protect himself. Is that wrong?
That's real wrong. That's what the narrative was. And I think that's so interesting because the reason that he's been brought up on felony battery. How many people do you know get stabbed and they get
right? That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Here's what happened. He was in the back of a hotel for whatever reason. This is late night, Saturday night. We'll circle back to the back of the hotel in a second. The 69-year-old man is a guy that comes into these hotels and swaps out the cooking oil.
Oh,
so so they have fresh oil to cook with, for the next day.
Oh, wow.
And so he's a 69-year-old guy. He had hearing aids. He rolls up, and Mark Sanchez is back there. He doesn't know who the F Mark Sanchez is. It's the middle of the night. He don't care. He's back there, and Mark Sanchez is like, "You can't park here." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "You need to move your truck." And he's like, "I got cooking grease to swallow. Who are you?" They get into a tussle. Apparently, Mark Sanchez is shit-faced.
I hear he's drunk.
He's drunk. They get into a tussle. This guy pepper sprays Mark Sanchez. Now, people are saying, why do you have pepper spray? When you have to work in the middle of the night by yourself in a truck, you are a sitting duck, literally. So this guy had pepper spray. He pepper sprayed Mark Sanchez. Didn't do nothing. What drug is that, boo? Because pepper spray works on bears. So what are you doing?
You gotta clip that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so he pepper sprays him. That does nothing. Mark Sanchez keeps coming. The guy runs away. Mark Sanchez chases him down. They get in a tussle. The guy pulls his knife, his last line of defense.
Right, I said self-defense.
And yes, he stabbed Mark Sanchez, but Mark Sanchez, we're not going to show the photo. But I went down a Reddit rabbit hole and saw the photo. I mean, the guy's cheek
he's in a neck brace.
He's in a neck brace, and he's got a gash on his cheek that will be a lifelong scar. I mean, his cheek is as opened as if you used like a surgical knife on it.
My God, it went through his cheek. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, so
did Sanchez get the knife somehow?
Well, a lot of I think we watch knife fights and stabbings on TV, and they're clean with beautiful actors.
Right, but usually it's like messy.
Somebody stabs, and then somebody goes, "Ooh," and then they lean up. Think about in the kitchen if I was waving a knife around,
right?
And you were close to me, I'd probably get you, but I'd get myself. I'd hit myself.
Right.
When there's a knife and people are fighting for it, you're gonna cut your hand a lot of times.
That's right.
Defensive wounds. Knives don't care where they lacerate, so that's why they were both so cut up.
Oh wow!
But this guy, he did enough to get Sanchez off of him. But I mean, he was in bad shape. Sanchez apparently stumbled into a bar, which tells you what his mind was at. He gets stabbed and went right back to the bar. And so so he had to go into surgery. And when I saw these photos, I was like, oh, this ain't no misdemeanor.
Oh no, he's up for like 4 years in prison.
Yeah, and I know he's going to get a good lawyer, but his career
but there's video, Al. There's video.
Yeah. Michael Dean doesn't have it, does he?
No, I don't think so. But
I think there is video. We don't need to see that. But Tory, let me ask you this, because this is what my friend Katie, because she and I were talking about it. What do you think he was doing back there behind that hotel?
Yeah, something nefarious. Maybe cocaine.
That's what I think. I think
he got
I think he got, tuned up with the little nose candy, went through it.
Ski slope.
Yeah, he kept skiing but ran out of snow, and his re-up was gonna come. Why would you care where an oil truck parked, except if you were waiting for another car to park there?
Totally.
That's what I think. That's why he was like, you got to move your truck. I'm waiting on Rico. He's coming back. And it's like, I think that's why he was back there. And that explains
Totally.
because when people are on certain kinds of drugs like angel dust, this is all allegedly, there's certain drugs, PCP, that make you, that's when like it takes like 8 cops to hold down a regular looking
Totally.
guy. You
You're
have
like an animal.
superhuman strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that the pepper spray wasn't enough, and not only did he get pepper spray, but he also sought after and continued to chase after this guy.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more to this story that is going to come out.
And there's video cameras everywhere, y'all, at hotels. So I'm sure it's all on video.
Yeah.
Just Me had a good point, or maybe he was just puking. Once again, speculation before the facts. I appreciate that. Very good point. But you know what? That's what our job is. So
yes, but and get it. Just puking behind a hotel is one thing.
yeah.
But let me ask, who said that? Julia?
No, just me.
Oh, just me. Just me. Do you think your boy Al Jackson hasn't puked behind some buildings?
Or your girl Tory Schulman.
Yeah. Do you think there hadn't been some building pukings? You think that had to happen? Yeah. And I've never then had an issue with the parking situation.
Or your boy Michael D. Michael D said
exactly. And so like throwing up, first of all, if you're throwing up, that means that you're so sick that you cannot physically do anything but convulse.
Yeah.
Not only would you not be concerned with a truck and where it's parked, but the occupants in it.
Mm-hmm.
To the fact that he confronted this person, removed them from their truck, and then tried to move the truck, because he's also charged with trying to move a vehicle. He tried to get it. He got in the car. Tory, he was on a mission.
Did Fox not? Michael Dean just said, should Fox fire him? Is he not fired? I guess these are alleged.
These are alleged, but he's fired. Look,
he
you
has
guys
to
know
be
how
fired.
You know how contracts work. That's like if a radio host went on the air and used a slur.
It's a morality clause.
You that day. What they say is, the Alan Tory show is on paid leave.
Yeah. They're exhausted.
We're gonna have a little chit chat while our lawyers shuffle on in here and figure out. Yeah, his career's over.
He just
when
killed
those photos surface.
Oh my God, it's terrible. Someone keeps calling him a butt fumble. Is that a play that he did? Apparently he
has a famous play when he was the quarterback of the New York Jets. He was running with the ball and ran into his center's ass, and he fumbled the ball.
Oh, butt fumble.
And it's called the butt fumble.
Oh,
and it lived with him his whole life.
Wow. Okay, so now this and the okay. Wow.
Yeah, so
we
hope no one will be talking about the butt fumble anymore.
So again, we wish this victim all the best. We are not ignoring the fact that there's a victim here who tried to save his life. Allegedly, all this is alleged. Again, he's not been convicted. He's just been charged. So that is crazy. That is insane.
All right. Well, we will stay on top of this story. This is crazy. All right, Tory, let's get to this. All right, we are talking about a judge blocking Trump's petition to put troops on the ground in Portland.
Yes.
But not in Chicago.
Right. I think it was a different judge. So, yeah.
So, Tory, what do you think about this story? And what do you think about the fact that we are so now casually discussing with the colleagues, which city has troops deployed in them?
Right.
Not, can you believe that a city has? Which one? Think about the jump that we've made.
Yeah. So I just saw a video I want to let you guys know of coming out of Chicago where ICE agents were trying to take someone down and the crowd beeped, stopped, started filming so much that they eventually had to run away and drop the guy. And he was saying, Ayuda me, you mean the same thing you said. But Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois, said, we must start calling this what it is. Thank you, Michael Dean. It's called Trump's invasion. And I think the Democrats really need to turn this around of like, he's starting a war on ourselves. I'm proud of the Portland judge, but to be honest, the Supreme Court has just picked up a very important case, Al, and it is about Trump's power as president, and they have accepted it. And I think we're going to see, I know what you're going to say. The Supreme Court is bought, paid for. He's going to get all the power. I wonder if they're going to curb some of this power. I am optimistic, but I'm always optimistic about SCOTUS. And Yeah, this is gonna be it's starting a war. He calls it the enemy from within, and he wants to turn the law enforcement, the Department of Justice, the military against our own. Unheard of.
Well,
Unheard of.
no, Tory, I'll disagree with that. This is heard of. This is what was used with Hitler and Goebbels.
Oh, I meant in America. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
yeah,
Sorry.
in historical context. And I know people like, don't take it there. What do you think? How do you think these things happen? I think
Exactly.
people look at history books and they're just like, that was weird. It could never happen here. Everybody, they were like, I always say like my homeboy, and he's a producer in LA. His wife is from Iran, and she was telling me like there was a period before the Ayatollah where women could wear skirts
Yeah,
and
they
you
were
could drink
super
wine
fresh.
at a cafe on the street.
They were sassy. Oh yeah.
Right? Can you imagine trying that now?
Yes.
Do you think if you told those people before the this time next year, if you tried that, you could be physical harm will be done to you? What do you think they would have said? They'd be like, okay, sure, have another glass of wine, drunkie. These things happen throughout history.
Yeah.
Regimes come and go,
Yeah.
and some are more strict than others. But the playbooks for dictators, the playbooks for authoritarians, the playbooks for banana republics, they're all the same. Tory's running against me. Well, when I beat her in this election, then I'm going to take her and I'm going to put her in jail so everybody else knows what happens when you go up against me. I mean, Russia still has elections, boo.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Putin has won like 9 of them. Like he wins like 89% of the popular vote. It's like, oh,
totally. And we've heard Trump say this one thing. I have two things to say. One is that if he starts a war, elections are off. If there's a war within America, elections are off. And I think you said that at one point, Al. This is the point, so that he can get rid of the elections and start a civil war, basically. And then 2, guess what Hitler started with? Are you ready for this? He didn't start with gas chambers. He didn't start with extermination of just lining people up and shooting them. He started with a slogan. And you know what the slogan is, Al?
What?
Make Germany great again.
Yeah.
That's how it starts.
And when people are downtrodden, the best way to communicate to them is not to say, hey, let's all look inside. It's really what Jimmy Carter tried to do. That's why he was a one-term president.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was like, hey, America, those days of like 1950s, housewife waiting a martini, them days is over, Jack. Our competition has rebuilt. People always wonder why the 50s were so good. It's because our competition, Japan and Germany, in terms of automobiles, electronics, they were smoldering still. They didn't have buildings.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter was like, they're back. We have competition in the auto market, and we're gonna have to fight on a global scale to retain our position as number one in the world. And people didn't like that.
Yeah.
And so Reagan came in and was like, we're good. It's morning in America. We're gonna start all this over, and it made everybody happy. And guess what? He took the constraints off of Wall Street. Everybody made a ton of money, and here
except
we
the
are.
Middle class.
Except the middle class.
Yeah.
Corruption ran rampant, and it was and here we are, and it's exactly what we're seeing. It's telling the public what they want to hear while you loot the coffers. So
totally.
I'm really scared of all this, and it is heartwarming, although sad, to see a lot of Americans standing up for their fellow Americans and saying, you can't do this.
Yeah. It's
if
so
you need
interesting to
beat me
watch.
up, then that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and Chicago, they take their pride in their city so strongly, and to see that group of people stop an ICE raid on this one man, I mean, it's crazy. I do want to say to Marcy, that interview with the lady who's on the Supreme Court, I watched that interview too. It's Amy Coney Barrett, Al, and they say, like, can Trump have a third term? And she's like, that's not what's written. That's not, kind of like vague answers. And she goes by the law, which is a bunch of crap. Every time I see that interview, Marcy, I like really strongly hope she's telling the truth. I get this weird optimism, but you're right. As someone else said, they allowed profiling. You're right. Like, I shouldn't get my hopes up for this, but I do.
And
so anyway,
remember how Amy Coney Barrett and who's the other guy? I like beer. What's his name?
We all like beer. Oh, Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Brett Kavanaugh. Remember that, colleagues? We're not going to mess with settled law.
Yeah,
we're not going to go after those
Right.
things. Abortion was out the door before they even put a potted plant in the window.
Yeah.
Abortion, the Voting Rights Act, So I don't trust anything
Yeah, I agree.
that they're saying because
I
they
know.
came
You're
in
right.
with an agenda. So I mean, let's hope maybe even they're scared that because you know, once Trump assumes enough power, what does the Supreme Court have to do?
That's the
You
problem.
know,
They're the top to enforce it all, and they're bought and paid for. So he's got all the branches, and they still have a shutdown anyway.
all
I
right,
just
Tori.
want Amy. I thought Amy Coney Barrett would go against and stick with the law, but she hasn't. Anyway,
She has not. All right, Tori, let's do this right here. I don't want to use the famous people because she's so disgusting. Let's use this one. All right, Tori, we're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. She did not get the famous people. She's so gross. The Supreme Court, speaking of, said we're not going to be hearing your case. So, Tori, now that her appeal to the Supreme Court, Ghislaine Maxwell of Jeffrey Epstein fame, infamy, I should say, now that her case will not be heard by the Supreme Court, what up with that? What's next for her?
what up with that?
What up with that?
Remember, yeah. What up
Yeah.
with that? So when you get to the Supreme Court, if you've been convicted, which she was, you appeal to a circuit court, a court of appeals, or appellate court. And if you keep going, you eventually run out and you have to go to the Supreme Court. That's the last one, y'all. There isn't like an extra Supreme Taco Bell. Like that. The Supreme Court is supreme.
I was
You know
about to
what I
say
mean?
Taco Bell has a dispute.
I know. That's it. You can't do anymore. So she said, her lawyer said they're going to do other options. Someone just said it's Dana, it's Gigi. You all said it. I think she's going to try and get pardoned by Trump. Her lawyer said this fight isn't over. Serious legal and factual issues remain, and we will continue to pursue every avenue available to ensure that justice is done. And I think their only avenue is Trump. Now, when Trump was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell, he famously said, "I wish her well." And that kind of people have asked him for years, why would you say that? She's a convicted sexual sex offender. Why could you say that? But yeah, she was moved to a nicer prison, and that was not allowed for sex offenders. So she's already moved through some rules here. And I wonder if there will be a pardon. I wonder what you think, Al. Would Trump pardon Maxwell?
It would make his I just think that all the stuff, the deployment in the streets, everything that's happening is good for the Trump people because the Epstein files are on their ass.
Totally agree.
For him to pardon her would be like, oh, that beehive is finally settling down. Let me pick it up and drop kick it. To pardon her would reignite a fury within his own base, which is the only group of people he cares about anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth it. I think Trump is like, look, girl, I did you a solid.
I agree.
got you to a minimum security prison.
I agree.
I guarantee you that's the kind of prison that has like a vegan option, like for real. No
There's
joke.
yoga.
Yes, there. Yeah, we've got quilting at 4:00. Don't be late. Sign up is getting full.
Yeah, and she's not allowed to be there. I mean,
She's
I don't
legally
understand
not
it.
allowed to be there.
Yeah, so no one enforces her. So Jag in Arizona says if he pardons her and he loses his base, I kind of agree with you. And I don't think he will because of what Al said. But he has treaded very lightly on Ghislaine. And maybe that's because there's him in the Epstein files, so he doesn't want to piss her off. She knows where all the bodies are buried. She partook. She partook in these children and young women's abuse. So, yeah.
I'll also say this, and let me ask the colleagues this because I'm curious as to how you guys will answer this. At this point, everything's about leverage. You know, what can Trump is like, what can you do for me? So I'll ask you, colleagues, what could Ghislaine possibly do for him at this point? Because her word doesn't mean anything.
What if she just didn't bring him up, you know? What if she protected him?
But no one would believe that. You know, we'd all be like, oh, so now Trump, he's complete. Remember, because she tried to go, I didn't see him do anything untoward. And everybody's like, shut up.
Yeah.
She doesn't have enough credibility.
Yeah.
To even absolve him of any wrongdoing. And with that, she being released can only hurt him.
Yeah.
She can't help him.
She's contained now. Right now, she's safe. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Trump is like, look, I got you to a level 3. It's way better than where you were. And, you know, that's, I'll never think about you again because I don't think he ever will.
Yeah. He doesn't think about anybody, I think.
I don't think he does. I
No.
think he's a sociopath. Tory, we're talking famous people. Diddy was a famous person. Now he's an infamous person. He got 4 years. Do you know, and I was asking my girlfriend, I guess I could have read up on this. Does he get time served for the 13 months he's already done?
Think so. Yeah, I think so.
So
I
3
believe
years
so.
of federal time, you have to do 85% of your time. So that would be what, about, I'm just
2
guessing,
and change.
some 2 and maybe 6 months to 8 months.
Yeah.
Well, Diddy doesn't want to do that. His lawyer is calling the judge the 13th juror after a 4-year sentence. Do you think, we talked about Ghislaine, do you think that Diddy will appeal, and do you think that appeal will have any legs?
Oh, they will appeal immediately. If you guys haven't seen, no cameras are allowed in the Diddy trial, but a famous court sketch artist has sketched really jaw-dropping illustrations of what Diddy did. And he grabbed his head, he bent down on the chair, put his head down, and was like screaming. He was like, you can't do this. You can't do this. The judge said he's felt that Diddy has zero remorse. And Diddy kind of had a little temper tantrum. Like he panicked, and it was very intense. So it's very interesting to see Diddy in those illustrations. Yeah.
What do you think his chances of appeal are?
So unless there's some technical problem with the way that they either had probable cause or anything like that, which you can win an appeal on, like those little details, that's what most people win on. If there hasn't been anything like that, there's no grounds for an appeal at this point. So I don't think he will be released. I think it would be very odd to overturn this judge in such a high profile case. I could be wrong, but Diddy's look is very slim, very, very slim in my mind. Yeah, Lucy said he already had speaking engagements, thinking he was going to be released.
Yeah, and who's booking him? It's really interesting. I think that he is forgetting what what the future looks like post even acquittal.
Yeah.
That OJ Simpson showed him, because I think OJ was like, hey, I got off, let's go golfing, and everybody's like, would you get out of here? He couldn't go to his country club.
He was
No one wants
radioactive.
to be photographed with you.
Yeah, it was radioactive. Still radioactive.
And so I'm wondering, honestly, I don't think he wants to do the time.
I agree with you.
But if it would be better for him to go away for 2.5 years, we have 2.5 years more stories, and then he comes out, he's like, hey, I found Jesus or Allah, and I talked to my daughter, and I've been doing programs, and now if he seems reformed, I don't think this is something that he will do, but I think that's his best chance at reacclimation into the public, is doing his time. If he gets off with some legal, I got a good lawyer stuff, I would understand why he would take that. But I think what he's doing is he's going to have a lifetime of being ostracized. You'll never come back from this.
I think it's like a Will Smith thing. I think it's like a Will. Yeah. Julia says, I'm sure that he's kept safely in his jail cell. He was on 24/7 suicide watch, just so y'all know. I think he doesn't want to do the time. Like, I just don't think he wants to do. And I think anyone who sex traffics over state lines to do freak parties that take anyone who's seen the video of him beating Cassie he's an evil, in my mind, he's evil. He's an abused.
Right, but that's not what he's in jail for.
Right. I know.
And so publicly,
I know. He wasn't.
The harder question, if y'all want to get into it, is what did he do wrong?
He got caught.
Like, what is the charge? We all know it's gross. We all know that was repugnant behavior and should not be tolerated. But it seemed like a lot of the adults were willing, at least with the
not the women, not some of the women. I mean, I really think in my mind, it's he took them against their will. Is what I've heard from the victims, and I should say survivors. So yeah, that in my mind. Can I
ask you a question, because I don't want to be piggish about this, but you know me, I'm always curious. If I go, Tory, you won't believe it, but this weekend, Michael Dean kidnapped me and forced me to party at his house. and you'd be like, oh my God. And then I'd be like, but that's not all. And then it happened again yesterday and on Sunday too. You'd be like, what? He kidnapped you 3 times? It's hard for people to believe that after the first or second time that it was completely non-consensual.
I understand that looks that
It's
way.
just hard to believe. I'm not saying that it
Totally.
wasn't.
Totally. But I think when you're abused the way those women were, and I've seen 2 videos, you are terrified of leaving. You are just terrified of leaving. You have nowhere to go financially. You think he'll come at you with revenge. I think it is not wanting or willing or consenting. It's fear. It's just, I'm absolutely terrified of what this man could do. That's in my opinion. That's what most people say. It's not like they want to stay. They just don't have the financial means to get out. And yeah, Michael Dean says as a victim, it's hard because of discrepancy in power. You're worried if anyone's going to take this seriously.
Right.
Yeah. So,
But
and you know, they
my
dropped.
initial question, is that a crime? People being scared of what you could do to them.
Well, if you're taking someone against their will, that is considered, and you're locking any kind of door, that is considered kidnapping.
But they had footage of them partying at these places. They were drinking champagne and having sex. You know.
But that doesn't mean it's not against their will. Like,
it's just harder to prove. I'm not saying that
totally
it wasn't
agree.
It's
That's
just,
why it was scary for a lot of them
sticky.
to speak.
It's a muddy story, you know.
Totally,
it's
right.
not going to be like this clean. He did it. Here's the video. Put him in jail. It's just kind of like.
But I'm proud of the survivors because their testimony was the only proof. So I'm very proud of the survivors who spoke out because they slammed the case shut.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Diddy is gone. Let's get to this. I just have the word Rob written down. What is that? What do I want to talk about, Michael Dean? Rob who?
Oh, Michael Dean says, I'm a rape survivor for years and years. I thought I was partly to blame for what happened to me. It's such a crock of shit. Bravo, Michael Dean.
Thank you for admitting. Oh, and first of all, I caught myself. I don't want to say admitting that because that means that there was some fault there.
That's
Thank
right.
you for sharing that.
That's totally right.
It's what goes on in the power dynamics in this world and who is believed and who isn't, who is dismissed and who isn't, is something that I don't think, at least in my lifetime, that we'll ever get completely right. The judicial system is biased. You watch documentaries about. I told you this seems like a different thing, but it's symptomatic of what people deal with. When whatever killer went on that game show, the dating game, whichever one that was it the Night Stalker or somebody else? No, that was Richard Ramirez. But one of the a serial killer went on the dating game. Actually, the girl that won the date with him, did not go on the date because she was like, he was so creepy backstage. But leading up to that, he had killed some people, and there was a woman that went to the police office, and they were like, hey, there's a guy who fits the description that is with these women, and then you never see these women again. And they're like, well, I don't know, you gotta call our superior. You look pretty hot, just like how a 70s cop would be. And she got to the doorway and she just screamed, will you do your effing job? And unfortunately, unless you are somebody with means and you are accusing somebody that doesn't have more means than you, that doesn't have more connections than you, then what are we talking? Do you remember that dirtbag kid that assaulted that young woman in North Carolina years ago? And he got caught. He was some frat kid and he was assaulting a girl behind the
swimmer.
Yes. And he got caught.
Yeah, and he got
the
off.
judge let him off.
Yes, I do.
And the judge was like, he's a young kid. He's got a bright future. And it's like,
why would you open up
that?
Right? Why in the world, in this world, as probably a woman or anybody, go to the police? Jeff, it's just rape survivors. You know how many rape kits are still not even tested? Like Kamala Harris's one of her main proponents was, I'm spending money to get through these rape kits because there's still statute of limitations for a lot of these tortured rapists. So you're absolutely right. It's not a good look when you look into the future. If you're abused or tortured or raped, God forbid, you don't have an easy path. Okay. You just don't have an easy path.
And also just, as it pertains to those rape kits, I think there's a reason
Oh yeah,
that we haven't gotten to those.
no
Because
money.
I think when that DNA is matched up and it's some
Politician.
professor's son, what do you think? Those are all just guys snatching people into the bushes?
Totally.
Those are men of means.
Yes.
Those are people that felt privileged enough to commit a crime of violence like that against somebody like
Totally.
Michael Dean, against somebody like a college girl. It's like, what are you gonna do? My dad owns
Totally. And they're right.
everything,
And they're right.
and they're right.
And they're right, Al.
And so when we remember, we would do stories like this on DBL, and people be like, well, why don't the girls come forward? Because of this.
Yeah.
I just hope people stop. As if I live long enough where that question is not asked anymore, I would consider it a win.
Agreed.
Because it's just like, this is why people do not come forward. Tory, we need some joy in here, so hit us with this. All right, Tory, fun fact of the day.
Are you guys ready?
By the way, any massage specials today that we should know about?
What do you mean?
You look like
a spa owner.
Yeah, yes.
The aromatherapy will be at 5. The aromatherapy will be at 5.
Okay, really quickly, what kind of therapy do you like? Do you like aroma? Do you like a sound bath? Would you want a massage?
I like all of those.
Like,
what's
your favorite?
Massage for sure is my favorite. I really like massage, but I'm going to hot yoga tonight. It's like 85 degrees, so it's not like hot, but it's hot. You know what I mean? Warm. Yeah. It's very warm. By the way, a lot of you guys are opening up, and we are so thankful for this, that you trust us for this. I just want to say, Shelly says, I'm a survivor of rape as well. I remained silent for decades. Sexual assault was not a crime within a marriage until the 90s. And we are so thankful for you to open up and say that, because we are here for you and we support you, and your trauma will not be your prisoner anymore. I think this is amazing. Sylvia says, I'm a survivor as well. Best friend's brother. I knew no one would listen, especially my friend. We are so thankful you're open. Christina, I was told because I consented the first time and because I wasn't subservient enough, it was my fault. And that's why I don't go to church anymore. I'm so sorry to all of you. None of you deserve that. But I'm going to clean your palate with some water fact. You ready for this, everybody?
Okay. And once again, thank you, Michael Dean, and everybody. There's a reason we're all colleagues and we're all on here.
1,000%.
We're all of the same ilk. I love y'all.
I love y'all too. That was a beautiful thing that opened on World Mental Health Day for you guys. That's beautiful. And okay, here's your fact of the day. Where do you think 60% of the lakes in the world are located? It's a country.
Oh, 60. I'm going to go Iceland.
Iceland. Everybody write in the chat where you guys think. Julia just made the oh, she's crying. I thought those were for lakes. She's probably crying. What was the question? Okay, which country holds 60% of the world's lakes? Shelly says the US, Brandon says Russia, Sylvia says Canada, USA. Okay, one of you got it.
Is it me?
2 of you. It's Canada.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah, it was sort of
the wilderness up there. Okay.
So yeah, is that a good one?
That's a good one.
Okay.
I'm going to accept that one. And Tori's gone. And it's just me and my apartment. Luckily, she timed it well. Tory just went away. Wait, she's back. Colleague, hold on. We got to add her.
So sorry.
What did you do?
I hit the wrong X out of my fact thing. I'm so sorry, everyone.
And then Michael Dean came on unprepared, no volume. Michael Dean's just like,
oh, that's hysterical. I'm so sorry.
Oh God, I love y'all so
I love
much.
Y'all too.
So yes, we definitely needed that this today. Lots of crazy news. And remember, Tory has said that the Chiefs are gonna win it tonight.
Yeah,
21-17.
My instinct was the Jaguars, but I want Taylor Swift. I know it's bad. I think it's gonna be 21-17.
Okay. All right. So, all right, colleagues, you guys watch the game. And remember, hold me accountable. I will have a gym picture on Wednesday. All right, Michael Dean, my gym bunny. You remind me, Tory, you remind me as well. colleagues, I say this from the bottom of my heart, and I say it for Tory, we love y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.